So greetings, everyone. This is Kevin Carroll. We're going to wait probably till about 4:05. Let some other folks log in and sign up for the registration. We'll just chat a little bit before that. We have the speaker, and of course, we have Brandon from Teradata. Brandon, where are you? Where's the secret remote location of Teradata right now?
Secret remote location? Yeah, it's headquarters in my bedroom, I guess you could say.
Are you in, I don't want to be too privacy about where you live, but what are you in Poway or Rancho Bernardo or?
Yeah, I'm in San Diego, Carmel Valley right now.
Carmel Valley. Okay, I'm in Rancho
I'm not in
Penasquitos.
the headquarters of Teradata, unfortunately.
And I'm sorry, how do you pronounce your name, your first name?
Hui.
Hui, where are you calling in from?
I'm calling from San Jose, California.
San Jose, good. We had a very rare winter storm last night. And it was, I don't know, Brandon, if you noticed, but I think it's probably one of the worst storms I've seen here. Now people are from San Diego. If this was a national call, when I say a big storm, they would, but we had, 30-mile-an-hour winds and sticks coming off trees and everything.
Yep. I saw trees at angles that I've never seen before. They were like more than 45 degrees. I was thinking, is that tree gonna fall?
Yeah, we had a little bit of hail around, I think it was around 8 o'clock. We went outside and it was kind of white on the ground. It wasn't quite snow, but there's a little bit of hail. So interesting weather for San Diego, to be sure.
Got really beautiful today, though, after all that wind.
Yeah, it was still a little chilly. Hopefully we'll get back to our normal San Diego weather, which is, of course, technology's perfect climate. This will be recorded and on our YouTube channel, so we will eventually have some.
Kevin, I don't hear you at the moment. Am I the only one?
Hey, Kevin, we lost your audio there for a moment. If you could say again.
What's that?
Oh, there we go. Your audio cut out for us, so we didn't hear the tail end of your sentence there.
Yeah, I had I'm not sure. I think my phone, it's my headphone simultaneously hooks up to my phone and it was in silent mode, but I still think it cut off my audio.
Yeah.
We're just waiting for a couple of more folks to sign up and then we will get going. I have 4:03, so we'll probably wait till about 4:05 or so. Wait, we're a PayPal customer as well, which is always nice.
I hope you all are.
We have been a PayPal customer for quite some time. We're a small nonprofit, but it's a highly efficient, easy to use way for us to collect. Sometimes people want to pay online for their dues, and people want to pay for events, so we go straight through PayPal, which always works out nice.
Thank you. I hope at least we make people's life slightly easier in the last 8-9 months, special time.
It's everyone's getting used to working. GoToMeeting doesn't have virtual backgrounds, and so my office is just it's still not real, but it's not one of those virtual ones. So I'm faking it a little bit.
I was wondering about that, Kevin.
It looks like a high tech. It looks like something. It looks like the PayPal or offices with very high tech and. The first clue is there's a bunch of Macs on the desk back there, and All right, I have 4:04, so we'll get going here in just a minute. I've been looking forward to this one. Scott Soldi introduced us, which was nice. And did you used to be in San Diego? Hui?
I used to be in San Rafael.
Okay. All right. All right, let's go ahead and officially get started. So, greetings. I introduced myself previously. My name's Kevin Carroll. I'm the executive director of Tech San Diego. This is a program series that we've done for almost 2 years now. Teradata has been the sponsor the entire time. And really the genesis for this series is to coalesce the data science community. We have a burgeoning cluster here in the region, and this series provides information to other data scientists in the region. And ultimately, our goals for data scientists to see this region as a center for data science excellence. So we really enjoy bringing in outside speakers. I want to thank our sponsor, Teradata, who came up with the idea for this with Tech San Diego. Appreciate their sponsorship and support. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce the chair of the Data Science Roundtable, who happens to be from Teradata, and then we'll go ahead and get going. So the way we're going to do this is you're welcome to ask questions. We're probably not going to interrupt unless it's something that's so compelling. I can't think of what that might be, but if we have to interrupt, we certainly can interrupt. If we have any technical glitches, we have Sarah Spiva, our marketing and events manager, is on the line, and she can help us out with anything. We're not going to have any glitches, but just in case. And so what we'll do is we'll hold those questions until the end, and then Brandon and I will moderate. Mostly Brandon, because I don't have domain expertise in data science. That's Brandon's job. So Brandon, I'm going to introduce you. Brandon Quach is the chair of the Data Science Roundtable. His day job, he's the principal data scientist and manager at Teradata, where he leads a team of data scientists working to automate customer support, working with lead software engineers and product owners, implementing AI in production. Just to note a couple of things he does. If I miss anything, let me know. I am going to turn it over to Brandon and go off screen. So Brandon, it's all yours to introduce our speaker and get going.
Thank you, Kevin, and thanks everybody who's attending, listening now. I'd like to welcome you to the Teradata Data Science Distinguished Speaker Series. Let me tell you a little bit about Teradata. We transform how businesses work and people live through the power of data. Teradata is the cloud data analytics platform company built for a hybrid multi-cloud reality, solving the world's most complex data challenges at scale. So I get to have the honor of introducing to you today's speaker. She was introduced to us by Scott Zoldi, another member of the Data Science Roundtable. Dr. Hui Wang is the Vice President of Data Science at PayPal. She manages a data science team developing machine learning and data mining technologies. Her team owns fraud and risk models that are the backbones of PayPal's risk management, as well as various data science solutions to support compliance and customer service. She's an expert in many machine learning technologies. Additionally, she plays a designer role in architecting many next-generation analytic products to enable modern machine learning for real-time detection and decision systems. She has been interviewed by the Wall Street Journal, Computer World, the Huffington Post, just to name a few. Prior to her 17 years at PayPal, she was an analytics lead at Fair Isaac for 3. She holds a bachelor's degree in computer science from the University of Science and Technology of China and a PhD in statistics from the University of California at Berkeley, so go Bears. We're very lucky to have her share her experience. So Dr. Wang, please take it away.
Thank you, Brandon, for the introduction. I would also like to thank Scott for connecting me with this great forum. So glad to be here to have this discussion with all of you. So I'm going to talk about really how in PayPal we have been leveraging AI and machine learning to revolutionize global payment. I've been doing this for, again, actually more than the time I'm with PayPal, as you heard from Brandon. It has been a long time. So I'll start with some introduction of PayPal. Glad to hear some of you are, hopefully all of you are our customers. And then I'll show a sneak peek into how we use AI to revolutionize payment. And last but not least, also wanted to touch upon how in the center of our strategy, we are able to build a world-class data science team, which is really the engine behind all this magic. So a little bit into PayPal. So we are a global digital payment leader. And the company was, our product was launched back in 1999. As of today, we have over 360 million active accounts all over the world in more than 200 different markets. And then we currently have about 23,000 employees globally. And we have always been, for all these years, 20 years, yeah, plus, we've been remaining at the forefront of digital payments. Right? So our goal is to become the payment platform that will enable our customers, consumers, and merchants alike to connect them and then to facilitate electronic payments that will make people's life easier, so that to level the playing ground, so everyone is able to join this global economy. And then we have a unique two-sided, we are a unique two-sided platform, have a closed-end kind of two-sided network. So on one hand, we have, again, a lot of consumers on the buying side, where we provide all kinds of solutions, payment solutions, credit solutions, various financial products to help them manage and move their money. And there, our value proposition is around, we are able to provide simple, fast, and secure payments to facilitate and help people make their life easier. And then we do this, again, globally across many different geolocations and also across many different platforms, in addition to the merchant channel. On the other hand, on the merchant side, again, our goal is to power all aspects of digital checkout, whole suite of solutions, including online, on mobile, as well as in-store, offline. And in the meantime, with the payment product, we also provide credit solutions to our merchant portfolio to help them, enable them to grow with us. And one of our important value proposition is our risk and fraud management capability. So with our global scale, our powerful platform, which I will go into more details later, we are able to help our merchant successfully manage their risk, and then again help them enable their business and ensure a good customer experience. And last but not least, we also offer tools and insights to help merchants grow their business in terms of attracting new customers as well as increase sales. So again, we are a global closed loop network, and that we have both ends of the commerce, and then our goal is to enable global business and make people's life easier. A little bit into like what's unique about PayPal. So again, at least on this page, many different things, but specifically wanted to mention, in addition to what I talk about, because we are a global platform, scalable two-sided network, and the platform that kind of provides lots of data and capabilities for us to do a lot of things beyond just facilitate payment, things like fraud and risk management, things like, again, attracting new customers or those kind of customer engagement related initiative. So our strong brand and consumer trust has always been in the center of our overall strategy. Right? Fast, safe, and secure has always been our slogan, put it this way. Also wanted to mention, we are a global platform where we stay compliant in these 200 plus markets we are at. So again, as those of you who work in financial institute know, actually this is actually easy to say, actually very hard to do. But again, we are able to leverage our global platform and the humongous amount of our data intelligence to help us to stay compliant globally. And then last but not least, again, our enterprise risk management capability, which we've been putting in the top and center of our strategy, have been building over the last however long. Again, it's really the foundation to ensure all our successes. So this is what kind of make PayPal unique, and then hopefully again facilitate the global commerce. I think next page I'll show a little bit about our latest financial results. But as you might know, as you might hear, right? So this global commerce or electronic payment market is gigantic. So on this page we showed, right? So there are almost $3 trillion in the e-commerce or mobile commerce market, and on top of it, there's offline in-store, there's P2P, there's also like a consumer financial service. All together, I guess we're talking about a total addressable market of over 100 trillion. Our latest public earning report, which was from Q3. I think the next page I'm showing it. Actually, let me go here. So this is our Q3 financial results, right? So as you can see here, in Q3 of 2020, we processed almost 250 billion, so which means we are close to 1 trillion a year payment volume. But going back to that page, our market, addressable market, is actually over 100 trillion. So there's still a lot of room for many players, and PayPal included, to continue our growth and hopefully thrive in facilitating this global commerce. And then over the years, PayPal, we are not just growing organically, right? So we also take a merger and acquisition in the center of our strategy. So this page kind of summarizes over the years the acquisitions we've made, calling out a few significant ones. So back in 2008, we acquired Me Later, as I guess many of you recall. No, that time was kind of or either right before or in the middle almost of the last kind of a financial crisis. But again, this acquisition actually was PayPal enable us to broaden our portfolio, including credit offering into our portfolio, being able to offer not just credit on the consumer side, but through a partnership, but also on the merchant side. And then with that, being able to again help our customers grow. So that was a significant acquisition back then. And in 2013, we welcomed Venmo to our portfolio. So Venmo, as you, I guess, more and more people now that experiencing Venmo. So it's a very strong brand, especially in the new millennial group. So again, many people use it in their day-to-day. Like if you go to college towns or some downtown area, you'll notice like this is almost like the most popular payment mechanism people use, right? So again, with the Venmo and PayPal coming together, we are able to leverage both brands and also create synergies in the back end in terms of, for example, risk management, and then really getting the best of both. And then we're on our journey in capitalizing Venmo for the company and for the people, for our customers. And then the last one I want to mention, like in 2018, we acquired this company called Simility. So this is really a risk as a service company. Again, those of you working in financial industry will be more familiar with, right? So this is about, again, in PayPal, we've spent so many years in building our risk capabilities, and with risk as a service, with Simility, we are able to externalize our risk capabilities to benefit, again, merchants outside of our core branded product. So that was, again, also a significant acquisition. Actually, latest we launched so-called fraud protection with our Braintree platform. So we're able to offer fraud protection, and behind the scenes, really all the intelligence, core intelligence that we've accumulated from PayPal core portfolio over the last 20 plus years. And last but not least, again, we completed our acquisition of GoPay in China. So that's actually one of our strategic moves to ensure, again, our cross-border business. Many of those are with our Chinese merchant will be able to continue to grow and continue to thrive. So these are kind of, again, all the mergers and acquisitions we've done over the years, which again is in the core part of our strategy. And we've been here. So this page summarizes our Q3 results. Processed almost $250 million total payment volume for the quarter, and then 361 million active accounts across the globe. So this number, again, think about it, it's really not to be taken lightly. Really in the backbone of a lot of things we do, because again, we have such a big user base, and then with that, we're able to not only empower global payment, but also again create insights, data analytics to facilitate many parts of people's life, including consumers and merchants. For the technical people, I guess in this forum, many of the target populations are. So wanted to show really the power of our platform, which is really the backbone of everything we do. So I talk about we have more than 360 million active accounts. And then this page summarizes so unique events entities that are available in our system. iOS unique device fingerprints, 710 million. And so, and Android, and so on and so forth. So we have a huge data footprint. And then again, for the machine learning scientists out there, saying this is really what we are asking for, right? So what we are craving for, all this data enabled a lot of modern advanced machine learning and AI, and really empowering global payment. And then when it comes to specifically machine learning, we have hundreds of models, many more rules, many more variables, and then lots of code releases every year. So again, these are the technology behind, as we know, for those of you working in fraud, it's a very dynamic world. Right? So all these things combined help us to stay agile, stay adaptive, actually stay one step hopefully ahead of the fraudsters, and enable a good risk management. Last but not least, we are building a global platform, so it's really important to ensure our platform is scalable, is fast, is secure, is scalable. Right? So as you can see, all these data, 3 petabytes of data or whatever, like all these events or data we are processing day in and day out. So we have PayPal has a vision that we wanted to get to 1 billion active customers per day, right? So again, this is really the technology foundation that will enable us to get there, to get to our vision. So really the power of our platform, again, as a machine learning scientist myself, right? So it's really all we are asking for, like our, sometimes I think in one of the news report, one of the news reporter mentioned something like, with this kind of humongous amount of data, the deep learning monster is well fed. Right? So this is really what gives us confidence. We're able to do a lot in machine learning and AI and empower our business. Okay. So this is a summary of PayPal. And then the next, I'll spend some time kind of talking into how do we leverage AI to empower global payment. Start with risk management. I guess this is really where PayPal risk AI or risk data science is really our strongest brand. But I'll also touch upon, again, in the past 5-6 years, we have gone much beyond risk management. We've been using AI in many other domains. I'll give you a sneak peek of that. But first, start with where we grow up from, really PayPal risk management. So we are unique in a way, like different from issuers or other kind of merchant acquiring banks, other players in this ecosystem, because like I mentioned earlier, we are a two-sided closed network, right? So we have buyers, we have sellers, and they are both on our platform, again, engaging with us, being our customers. So which means, again, introduce a unique challenge when we talk about PayPal risk management. It's actually a lot of different things behind, right? So on the consumer side, we listed like what are the typical consumer side risk we are managing, right? So all the way from, let's say, a typical identity fraud or stolen financial risk. This is more well known in the offline world. Let's say I lost my credit card, right? So again, when someone lost the credit card, one way to capitalize or monetize is to use the credit card through e-commerce, like on some kind of electronic payment platform. Again, PayPal being one of such platforms, right? So this is certainly a big part of the risk we are managing. And then on top of it, on the buyer side, we also have abusive buyer problem. Right? So again, there will be abusers, opportunists. They will kind of take advantage of certain processes or certain policies and abuse our payment system. And this is a potential risk we have to manage. And then on top of it, as we also provide consumers with a choice to pay. Right? So they are not forced to use anything. They can use credit card. They can also use their bank. And we leave this choice with the consumers. But on top of it, we also bear additional risk. So when our consumers use bank, it takes time for PayPal to clear this payment with the ACH or automatic clearing house. While for our merchant, we actually make the money immediately available. So with that, we are actually bearing a short-term risk of bounce check in this case, right? So we actually also need to manage at least part of the risk on the buyer side. On the merchant side, again, we say there's a variety of risk we are managing, ranging from identity/fraud risk, to like a collusion. What do we mean by collusion? Meaning a buyer and seller are colluding, are working together to defraud us, right? So this is what we call collusion, on the way to merchant credit risk, bankruptcy risk, things like that. So it's really a wide variety. And then cutting across both consumer buyer and seller, we have this thing called account takeover. So for any platform, actually, even there's an account, right? So there's account security issue, we want to make sure our account is secure, and then there's always this account takeover risk we have to manage. But so these are, again, all the pretty much summarizing the big part of the risk we are managing, and then the bottom in the center of it is actually our protection policy, right? So it's our commitment to our buyers as well as our sellers. As long as you do your part, you follow process, you follow our policies, you are protected. You don't need to worry about, again, all these fraudulent activities. Is PayPal will protect you. We will always be on your side. So that's kind of, again, when we talk about PayPal risk management, what do we really mean? So just again, a little bit into financial, a big part of the so-called financial risk, which is identity theft. Again, I know many audience probably work in financial institute, and again, you probably can say this better than me, right? So we sometimes joke it's safe to assume every credit card is stolen, right? So if you go to the black market, you will see a lot of credit cards are on sale for a price. So we are listing here. Again, depends on what kind of information the fraudsters is able to provide. Actually, there's a clear price tag for this kind of stolen account or stolen credit card information, right? So it's safe to say, again, a PayPal account is on the market for sale with a certain price. A PayPal account with a verified financial instrument is up for sale with a slightly higher price. Right? So it's safe to assume, actually, again, a lot of credit cards or even PayPal accounts actually are stolen. So what do we do in this world? So we need to manage this risk. So over the years, PayPal risk, we've spent, again, lots of time, effort, money in building out a end-to-end risk management system to manage risk, to protect our customers, and to enable the good customers will have a great experience, the fast, smooth, and secure, and then stop the bad guys from entering our ecosystem, right? So, but if we have to summarize really what are the secret sauce or driving factors behind this risk management system, we'll summarize into what do we call a human approach to big data. So again, when we talk about AI, big data, people talk about big data, people talk about machine learning, but we are proud, actually, we have a proprietary way with a human approach to big data. I'll have an example in the next two pages. And then number two, we want to call is really the power of our platform, right? So we actually, this is a homegrown enterprise fraud risk management system. We built over a multi-year journey. It's an award-winning, actually. We won a Computer World Award for one of those years. So it's really a homegrown, which makes it super flexible. We can do a lot of things and customize it for our specific needs. So we have control on pretty much everything within the system. So it's really empowering our AI advancement, and then really empowering our fraud and risk management system. And last but not least, like I mentioned, like the people, right? So over the years, we built a PayPal risk data science brand, and with that, we're able to attract the right talents, not only building a lab, but also build a factory. So not just, again, the lab that can give us the most advanced stuff, but also being able to productionize it and make it a factory so that we can influence pretty much all parts of business. So these three things are what we summarize being the secret sauce behind PayPal risk management. But I want to get into, again, what do we mean by human approach to big data, right? So when we talk about big data, machine learning, we are talking about machines, we are talking about automation. So what do we mean by human? I actually like to use an example. So it's like cooking a dish, right? So let's say if I have a zillion ingredient, it's the best thing for a computer to do, going through all the combination, permutation, or whatever, to find out which ingredient will make the best dish, right? So this is really what a computer is best at. So that is why we talk about playing chess, playing Go, even though it's very complex, super high dimension. But I think that's the best problem for computer to solve, because at the end of the day, all the ingredients are there, even though it's a humongous number, but everything is available. But what's special about risk management is because we are playing with another person on the other side of the world, probably also doing this as full-time job, right? So what if there's this missing ingredient? We just don't know. Then it will be a blind spot, right? We can't just only rely on machine to cook a dish with existing ingredient. We always need a process to always look for that one missing ingredient that will give us all the magic in cooking the best dish. So that's the example I like to use, right? So, and this is what we meant by a human approach to big data. So this is an example. We call it a story-based approach. So which means while we have a machine learning solution, but we're actually always constantly looking for gaps, right? Either false positives or missed fraud. And then when we identify those gaps, we are always trying to think about, okay, what is the story behind this gap? And then is there a new ingredient we can identify? So in this particular case, right? So it's a hypothetical example. Again, it should be an intuitive and simple example, but I hope it make the point, right? So if we saw a large purchase made from Sam's account. Sam is a U.S. resident living in New York, but the transaction originated from an IP address located in Thailand at 2 a.m. New York time, right? So usually when we look at it, right, so it's easy for us to think about, okay, there is certainly a lot of suspicious signs with this story, quote unquote, right? So statistically, you will see, like, again, when some account made a payment from a place where it's not the home address, and also at a weird time, typically this is a fraud signal, right? So again, our model will flag this. Many models will flag this as a fraudulent activity, and then again, the customer might be blocked or might be challenged. There will be friction in the experience, right? But we have this again human kind of story-based approach coupled with our machine learning, always trying to think what are the possible good stories. So if we think hard, I mean, as a human being, you can think of, okay, maybe this person, Sam, is traveling, right, on vacation, or maybe he's on a business trip, or maybe he's buying a present for his parents from Thailand, or he's visiting parents, or maybe he's serving in U.S. Army and is stationed in Thailand. These are all possible good stories, and there might be more, right? So once we have this, and then we think about, okay, how can we approach like getting these good stories out with a machine learning way, right? So we think, okay, how do I know actually Sam is actually on vacation? Can I tell from the IP? Can I detect hotel IP, for example, right? So in easy way, in the old days, people might say, let's create a list of all hotel IPs in the world. We actually approach it with a machine learning way, right? So we actually mine our humongous amount of data, connecting, for example, IP address with people's physical address, identifying keywords or whatever, trying to use a machine learning big data way to identify hotel IP or airport IP or military base IP or whatever, right? So we don't do it in a static list way, but instead we go back to our humongous amount of data and try to use machine learning to create this kind of tags that will provide a good answer to our hypothesis. And with that, again, we are able to say, oh, you know what, Sam is actually on vacation, because we are able to tell the IP is a hotel IP, for example, right? So this is, again, a very simple example of this our human approach to big data. And think of this is an iterative process actually always happening within our world. And then we actually support this process with a lot of automation and machine learning to make this scalable. But again, our human investigators, our human super agent play a key role in helping our machine kind of look for the next most potential, the most likely direction with the biggest potential. Okay, so this is what we meant by a human approach to big data. And then what, right? So now we have all this intelligence. I guess this page just showcase, right? So nowadays, as you may know, in modern machine learning, we always almost always ensemble, right? So we have all these different machine learning technology. We have our story-based human detective-based analytics, and then in the end, we actually put everything together, ensemble the model, and eventually being able to support our superior performance coming out of our system. So this is a typical way. So like I said, so these are kind of, again, just a few simple examples of what we do in risk management. But like I mentioned, we are actually going much beyond risk in the past 5-6 years with the AIs we originally built for risk. So this one showed one example, right? So active learning is a popular machine learning technology, recently very popular, right? So we actually leverage it to build our bot AI platform. So again, this is an AI application in our customer service domain. So we're building a chatbot that can help serve our customers and provide our customers with actually more consistent experience than a human teammate can ever provide. And there we actually leverage active learning. So what I meant, so supervised learning requires labeled data, and the labeled data is very hard to get. Again, in risk management, that's actually the advantage of doing risk management AI, because in risk management or in fraud risk management, the label is relatively speaking easier to get. Eventually, we get a chargeback signal from the bank, or we get a bounce check from the bank, right? But in other domain, like in customer service, when we are trying to build a bot, right? So the first foremost, we wanted to detect, for example, customer intent, right? When they come to our website and click on our chatbot button, what is this question or intent on our customer's mind? So how do we build a machine learning model to detect that, right? So without a readily available text, so what we do is, again, we went back to our human expert or human annotator, right? So we create samples asking the human to tag, okay, what is the customer's intent? Okay, this person is complaining he received something not what he had bought, for example, right? Or the other person says, okay, I send the money to the wrong person, I want the refund, for example, right? So we actually ask human annotator to annotate some of these samples. And then with that, we are able to route the labeled data through our machine learning models. In this case, it's a lot of natural language processing, things like that, right? So it's the NLP models. And then we route them through NLP. And then we apply this model on the unlabeled data. And then, like I mentioned on the left, we actually apply additional machine learning here through this process, identify the most important samples and send it back to our human annotator. And then we do this process iteratively. So this is an active learning behind our chatbot platform. And then with that, we're able to build the good natural language processing to power our chatbot. Again, for those of you NLP experts out there, you might ask, like, say, hey, how do we also leverage like open source? Right? So as we all know, like there are many open source, very good NLP generic models out there, and we do recognize that. So we do use that, by the way. Again, going back to what I meant about ensemble, right? So we leverage, say, some generic model from open source, for example, Google, BERT, or whatever. But we still have this process internally. The reason is because, again, PayPal, we are we have a unique ecosystem or unique environment, right? So all the language needs to come with a certain condition or certain circumstances, right? So the same word will be interpreted differently under different circumstances. So we cannot just take an open source model and use it directly. We have to couple that with an internal customized, let's say, PayPal NLP in order for this to work. And this is really the power of our machine learning behind a customer service type of application. Again, similarly, again, we have AI applications in marketing, in consumer engagement, right? So, and also in some of the compliance domains, trying to help our customers get through some of the compliance requirements in an easier way, and so on and so forth. But all these, again, have been built upon really all the assets, the humongous amount of data we have, the powerful enterprise risk management platform we have, as well as all the intelligence we've accumulated over the past almost 20 years from, again, managing risk and fraud for PayPal. Okay, so these are the two examples of how we use AI to empower PayPal. Lastly, I'll maybe spend a few minutes talking about how we build a world-class data science team. So I think many of you will agree with me. Data science is actually an interesting discipline, right? In order to really capitalize from data science or AI or machine learning, right? There are like a multiple aspects we have to consider to really make sure the AI solution will deliver value to either our customers or to our business. We're not just building a toy or a machine learning engine here, right? We actually want our machine learning to actually deliver either a better experience for our customers or actually additional revenue for our merchants, for example, right? So in order to accomplish that goal, we look at the data science actually is a multidisciplinary field, right? So we need, of course, machine learning is at the top, in the middle of it, but we need also knowledge, analytics knowledge, problem solving skill, engineering, a very good engineering skill if we want to make the machine learning work, and also, of course, statistical knowledge, right? So we've noticed over the years, a healthy team, a successful team, right? So saying we need to build a team that has a strength in all these 5 different the dimensions or domains, right? And then each team member is likely to be master only on 1 or 2. But when we put all these people together as a team, we are able to excel on all 5 different dimensions or all 5 different disciplines. So that's number 1 in terms of our team members' functional or technical background. And we also, our data science team, we also like to have a mixture of backgrounds. So we have our scientists coming from hardcore kind of machine learning shops. We have machine learning scientists coming from this big tech giant who are really good at building scalable and big platform. And we also have people coming from fintech or even traditional financial institute, because at the end of the day, there are something special about a fintech company that we need in the finance knowledge on the financial institute, right? So and then also the other thing is we've learned we bring scientists and engineers together really side by side, right? So that's how we can make the science actually work in a real life environment, really facilitate, again, all our intelligence will be able to materialize, to actually impact business at the end of the day. And then we've seen, again, common mistake is really, again, either you focus too much on 1 or 2 and forget it's really a multidisciplinary field, or you are looking for superhero, which, again, you might be lucky to find 1 or 2, which will make in the lab, but we are building a factory, right? Think about, again, 23,000 plus employees with PayPal. We need to provide AI almost to all business units and every one of them, right? So we need to build a factory. So we are not looking for superhero, but instead we want to build a super team where each member can excel in their own way. So wanted to share again how we can build a successful data science team, and which, again, like I mentioned in the beginning, is really in the core and center of our overall strategy and empower our AI advancement at the end, again, make our customers' life easy and also benefit PayPal. Okay, so that concludes my part and the presentation part of this talk. So I think, again, we can now open up for questions. Brandon, back to you.
Thanks so much.
Go ahead, Brandon.
I was just gonna thanks so much, Hui. If we had online, I would do the clap. If you're in person, I don't think we can hear it from everyone else, but that was a wonderful talk. I loved it.
Thank you.
Kevin?
You know, you talked about a lot of things, and one of what, go ahead, for those of you who have the question box, go ahead and put your questions in now, and we can get those answered. what permeated, it seemed to permeate your talk was the focus on fraud and security and everything else. I don't know how you sleep at night, but be that as you may, how important is it, and how have you been able to adapt to some of those security concerns with the stay-at-home workforce? How have you been able to address some of those issues?
So you mentioned work from home, but again, how I guess in the first part you asked how we address all those security concerns. So I didn't go into details, but again, within PayPal, we actually have a specialized team. We call it a counter fraud technology team. So they are actually constantly researching out there, like what are the kind of the latest from the technology side, and what are the potential gaps that the fraudsters can attack us, put it this way, right? We call it a red teaming. So again, we have internal people focusing so like almost day in and day out in researching the latest technology, looking for gaps, and then attack ourselves almost to a certain degree. And then we are able with that to build a defense, hopefully one step ahead of the fraudsters. And this is again a constant activity we have always been doing, and it's really help us kind of future-proof, at least we hope, to future-proof our system. And actually, the most recently, I see in the academic world, there are also more and more research around adversary learning, kind of which we can leverage for red teaming. And it's also something that we are looking into. You talk about work from home, so I'm not exactly sure like which part, but I would say that we are lucky actually. A lot of things we do is not being impacted much by this remote work environment. We're able to maintain a very high level of productivity even during this.
We do have a question that just came in. Let me go ahead and see if we can address that. One of the questions: can you describe the fields you get that you can use for your variables?
Okay, so there are a lot. So you see like a number of variables, you can certainly see a lot. So again, if I think about it, I talk about we have we are a two-sided closed network. We have an account, right? So whatever, again, for those of you who are customers. By the way, I should say, we actually treat data usage very, very carefully, right? So in fraud and risk, because we are doing this to protect our customers, right? So we do have, quote unquote, a lot of freedom in leveraging a lot of data, but we treat privacy super seriously. Right? So even in our fraud and risk models, the PII information are masked or whatever. So we are really protecting privacy. We only use the data for the sole purpose of, again, managing fraud and protecting our customers, right? So with that being said, so if you think about if you are a PayPal customer, so we're able to use a lot of like account profile information, right? So again, if you tell us your address, so we'll be able to analyze this address, and especially looking for consistency or inconsistency, like in my example, right? Someone living in New York, but IP comes from Thailand or whatever. So we'll be using a lot of profile information. We on top of, so these are account information. We also have transaction level information, as any of, again, people from FICO will know it really well, right? So coming from with a transaction, we have MCC code, the transaction amount, like all those things relating to this transaction. But on top of it, we also have information specific about the financial instrument. Again, the credit card, like again, is this a premier portfolio versus subprime or whatever, all those kind of things. And if you think about in the online field of fraud detection, a lot of work we do is about triangulating, right? Triangulating the online identity with the offline identity, and then furthermore with the financial institute. If we are able to establish this triangular relationship, then it's safe. So if you think about it, that's why like account information is important, transaction information is important, as well as a financial institute. So that's kind of one part. And then on top of it, we, of course, because we are mostly kind of online or mobile payment platform, right? We leverage lots of online information, device intelligence. We invested a lot in building, again, I showed like how many Android devices we have, iPhone, whatever, right? So we build a lot of intelligence on top of the device, and again, use it to protect our customers. So those are, again, what we can think of. Of course, on top of it, there are also internal, right? How you interact with PayPal. Like how often which pages you visit on our website? Did you call us from our call center. Those are like internal PayPal operational data we can also use. Again, if you recall, we have like, again, 50 plus events we capture, and we create really tens of thousands of features and which are consumed by all our machine learning models all the time. Back to you, Kevin.
Okay. One of the things I was intrigued with, and I'm gonna let Brandon get into some of his data science questions here in a second. One of the things I was interested in is you talked about building the data science team about input from academia. So in San Diego, I'm not sure if you're aware of it, but UC San Diego has a very active data science program, HDSI, and they're doing some really interesting things. Do you hire, in addition to perhaps sponsoring research, are you finding that the universities are training the data scientists in the right way, and are you able to hire them straight from college?
We hire lots of employees straight from college. We have a pretty good, a big actually intern program, as well as, again, we hire lots of college grads. And this applies, by the way, not just to our US San Jose site. We are also in Israel, in Shanghai, in Chennai. In all places, we hire lots of college grads. So that's why. So again, if you are out there, you are working in universities or whatever, so we welcome, we like to hire talents from school. You also mentioned, like, again, do I think the university train them well? I think, of course, right? So again, I think the university trains this generation of students really well on the hard skill. So once I get these students into the workplace, what we need to help the students transition from academia to industry is really things around the hard skill. I never worry about once I have a data set. Again, I can give it to a PhD or master student. They will give me the best machine learning model. But what we need to teach the students is really how to framing the problem. Right? So when given a business problem, how to translate that into a machine learning problem, how to create this data set, what are the right data or whatever. And then once we have the score, what do we do with it? How do we use it? Because again, we don't stop at just getting a score. We want a business value coming out of it. We want a better customer experience out of it, right? So how to use the scores? Again, that's what I meant by I focus more on like things around the hard skills to train the students, and that's where I found, like, again, something again the students can learn probably, I would say, better with an industry like a real life problems like ours. But again, the hard skills, like this generation of students, they are doing really good.
Yeah, that's a common rejoinder we hear about graduates. We promote this series, and this will be recorded and on YouTube. And we have a very active university talent initiative where we're trying to get more students. We're in San Diego, so we're trying to get them to have San Diego as their career destination. And we really impart upon them a lot that it's not only the how you do something, but it's the why, which is what you're talking about. So those students that are listening to this, go ahead and do it. Brandon, if you don't mind, there's a couple of other questions here. Let me go through those.
May I add one comment? I also want to take this opportunity because I think there are quite some machine learning or data science experts from Southern California. We'll also put a lot of focus in diversity and inclusion. So I welcome, in particular, women data scientists out there if they are in your network. So we actually put a lot of focus. We wanted to encourage and hire women data scientists and coming into this field and help us, because we did see, again, it's an important part of the diversity. So I just want to get the words out there.
Well, and they've been very well represented in this speaker series. I think out of the last 5 speakers, I think 3 of them have been female data scientists. So they've certainly been well represented. We've had Verizon and Salesforce, all senior women data scientists. So thank you for that. And I think that is critically important. One of the questions is, coming from software engineering is machine learning at data, coming from software engineering, is machine learning at data science a career path I can grow into?
Absolutely. So again, we hire lots of people like from hardcore engineering background, And as you know, nowadays with all this trend democratizing machine learning, right? So there are enough open source tools out there. Like you can, as a good engineer, it's very easy for you to take that and start building models, right? So, but similar to what I mentioned, like for people coming out of school, right? So for people like with a hardcore engineering background, you already have all the hard ingredients to make you a successful data scientist. What you need is really to get yourself exposed to how to frame the problem. Once you have a model, what do you do with it? These things around like the hardcore machine learning is where I will encourage you to expose yourself into and also train yourself up to. But otherwise, again, the hard ingredients are already there. So it shouldn't be that hard for you to grow.
One more question, and you may actually recognize the person who asked this question. We think he's one of the godfathers of certainly San Diego data science, and that's Steve Cogershall. Steve is asking, do you need to have geographically located algorithms data for international privacy laws?
We do. So in many different ways, right? So I think I guess first from the regulation point of view, again, there's this trend about making the data local, right? So like for example, in some countries, they are not letting data leave their country, but we need to keep the data local or whatever. So for that, we have to actually not only build our model, but our entire system to take that into account, right? So how can we keep the data local, but in the meantime, still being able to leverage our global scale, the intelligence built out from our global data to help with the risk management, things like that. So that's kind of one side of it. The other side is, again, we said fraudsters are the same. They travel all over the world, but good people are different. Right? So a good people in the US versus a good people in China, they actually have different shopping behavior, whatever. So from that point of view, our machine learning model will also have to be customized, because again, otherwise, again, a good people in this geo might look like a fraudster in another geo. Right? So we have to customize our models from that point of view. So both from regulation and also in reality, we have to customize our models per geo.
I'm going to turn it over to Brandon. I'm sure he has some data science specific questions and machine learning. And I guess we used a new term, learn a new term, active learning. But Brandon, I'm going to turn it over to you, see if you have any questions for our speaker.
I did have a question. Given that fraud and abuse affects many different companies, and given that as a data scientist, we know that the most effective way to get better model performance is just to have that data that you currently don't have. And given the complexities of privacy and even competitiveness, what do you think is the future of companies sharing data as it relates to preventing fraud? For example, you have the example of Sam who went to Thailand. Some companies know that happened. There's an airline company who knows he bought a ticket. There's maybe Google Maps or something that knows he went to the airport. But what do you think is the future of sharing data for this purpose?
This is a great question. I think it's also hot out there. I don't think I have the final answer, but I can offer some thoughts. So first of all, again, I guess in risk and fraud, this kind of data sharing is important. That's for sure, right? So I think over the years, PayPal has participated in various kind of partnership. Right? So I think FIDO being the latest one, various kind of partnership is really all the companies coming together to ensure we have an overall clean ecosystem for our customers or consumers globally. So that's kind of one. Right? So always looking for, like, again, partnership with our friends within this ecosystem. So together we can make the ecosystem cleaner. So that's kind of one. Of course, always been a strategy. But specifically but there are also all these challenges with privacy or whatever. So I would say, like I say, something along a risk as a service might be an example. Maybe that's the direction to go. So I mean, as the recent fraud protection product we launched with our Braintree platform, right? So there, again, we wanted to leverage intelligence from PayPal Core to help Braintree merchants, but we wanted to do it in a way to respect privacy, ensure we are compliant, right? So the way we do it is really aggregate the intelligence in the form of a score or something like that, and we are able to share the score, not anything behind. So we're able to, again, protect privacy, not sharing anything relating to PII, but still share the high-level intelligence So that could be a way. I think a cycle has been doing this for years in the creative world, right? So that could be one way of companies sharing intelligence instead of raw data. But I'm sure, again, given all the smart people we have in industry, there might be more ways. At least that's what I see happening today.
Thanks so much. Kevin, I want to respect people's time here. We're right at 4:59. We're scheduled to end at 5, is that right?
Yeah, or a little over. That's fine. I think we were able to answer all the questions that we had that people ask, and Brandon and I were able to ask a couple of questions. So if you don't have anything pressing, look, this was a great presentation. Wei, I want to echo what Brandon said when you first, especially building the world-class data science team. We're going to share that with a lot of companies here in San Diego. We learn about PayPal. We learn about how you do things. We learned about how you deploy AI and how you build your data science team. And that's exactly what we're looking for when we're asking speakers to talk to the San Diego data science community. So I know you have a very busy schedule and working diligently on keeping fraud out of the system and everything else. So I do want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule. So again, we're not just going to give you a virtual one. We're going to give you a thank you very much. And for those of you who want to know more about Tech San Diego, go to techsd.org. For those of you who want to know more about Teradata, you know where to find them. And we will see you at the next Teradata Data Science Distinguished Speaker Series in the near future. So I want to bring on my marketing manager to make sure that we didn't miss anything. Sarah, are we okay?
I just wanted to make a quick mention that we do have the AI and machine learning series is scheduled for February 18th at 10 a.m. And we will be talking about the future of artificial intelligence in San Diego and how that's affecting our economy.
Okay, thank you. And with that, we'll go ahead and end this one. Brandon, thank you and Teradata for sponsoring the series. Thank you, PayPal. And we'll see you guys at the next one. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you.